All right, so get this. We're diving deep today into Blue Origin.
Blue Origin.
Yeah, Blue Origin and their first attempt at an orbital launch with their New Glenn rocket.
That's a big one.
It is a big one, and we've got some seriously cool press releases.
Oh, yeah.
Straight from Blue Origin to unpack here.
Awesome.
They're aiming to land this behemoth's first stage on a moving platform at sea.
At sea.
On the very first try.
Wow.
Yeah. And that sounds a little familiar, doesn't it?
It certainly echoes some of SpaceX's achievements with their Falcon 9 landings.
Exactly.
But what's really striking about New Glenn, though, is the sheer size and power of this rocket.
It's massive.
We're talking over 320 feet tall.
Wow.
Dwarfing a lot of other rockets out there.
Yeah, the press releases mentioned it's comparable in scale to the Saturn V rocket.
Oh, wow.
That launched the Apollo missions.
That's incredible.
Kind of blows my mind.
Yeah.
But it's not just about size, right?
Right.
This reusability element, that feels like where the real competition with SpaceX heats up.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Blue Origin is aiming for at least 25 flights per booster with New Glenn.
Wow.
They're essentially trying to make rockets operate like commercial airliners.
Like planes.
Yeah.
So they can just keep using them over and over.
Exactly, if successful.
Yeah.
This approach could drastically reduce the cost of space travel.
Which is something that SpaceX has been championing for years with their Falcon 9 and Starship programs.
Right.
So how does New Glenn stack up against those?
Well, New Glenn is designed to carry heavier payloads into orbit, which makes it more suitable for larger satellites and even deep space missions.
Oh, wow.
This puts it in direct competition with SpaceX's Falcon Heavy and the in-development Starship.
So this is a whole new weight class, literally.
Literally.
Okay, so what about the engines? What's powering this beast?
Well, New Glenn is equipped with 7 BE-4 engines. 7.
Okay.
Which are quite remarkable in themselves.
Okay. They burn liquefied natural gas.
Okay.
Which is a cleaner alternative to traditional rocket fuels.
Cleaner fuel. That's interesting.
Huh.
Does that give Blue Origin a leg up in the sustainability department?
It certainly positions them as a more environmentally conscious player in the space industry.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's not just about the fuel.
Right.
These BE-4 engines are also incredibly powerful.
Yeah.
Generating enough thrust to lift New Glenn.
Wow.
And its payload into orbit.
Yeah, it's incredible to think about the engineering that goes into developing something this complex.
It's really something.
Yeah. But it's not just Blue Origin using these engines, right?
Right.
I read somewhere that ULA's Vulcan rocket also relies on the BE-4s.
That's correct. Blue Origin is supplying the BE-4 engines to United Launch Alliance for their Vulcan rocket, which is another major player in the space launch industry.
Yeah.
This partnership demonstrates the growing influence of Blue Origin within the sector.
So Blue Origin isn't just competing with SpaceX,
but also collaborating with other companies.
Right.
Like ULA.
Yeah.
It seems like the space industry is becoming a bit of a tangled web of competition and cooperation.
Indeed, it's a complex ecosystem where companies are simultaneously vying for dominance and relying on each other for technological advancements.
Okay, so speaking of advancements, let's talk about the payload for this inaugural launch.
Okay.
The Blue Ring Pathfinder.
Right, the Blue Ring Pathfinder.
What is this thing exactly?
The Blue Ring Pathfinder is a technology demonstration mission for a concept called Blue Ring.
Blue Ring?
Yeah, essentially it's a space station.
The space station?
Being developed by Blue Origin.
Wow.
In partnership with the Defense Innovation Unit.
Okay.
A government agency focused on accelerating the adoption of commercial technologies for national security purposes.
Okay, hold on. A space station?
Yeah.
Is Blue Origin taking on SpaceX's Starlink project now too?
Not exactly. While Starlink is focused on providing global internet coverage through a constellation of satellites, Blue Ring is envisioned as a larger, more versatile platform for various activities.
Okay, like what?
Including research, manufacturing, and potentially even tourism.
Oh, wow. Okay, so it's a different kind of space race.
Right.
More about establishing a presence in orbit than blanketing the Earth with satellites.
Yes.
And to think all of this is happening at Launch Complex 36 in Florida.
Yeah.
A site with a pretty impressive history in space exploration.
This is where things get really interesting.
Okay.
Blue Origin didn't just pick any launch site.
Right.
They invested heavily to rebuild Launch Complex 36.
Wow.
which was once home to Atlas launches for iconic missions like Mariner, Pioneer, and Surveyor.
So they're not just building a rocket, they're revitalizing a piece of space history.
Exactly. It's quite a statement.
It is, and it gets even more interesting when you consider their vertically integrated approach to this whole project.
Vertically integrated.
What exactly does that mean anyway?
It means that Blue Origin controls virtually every aspect of the New Glenn program.
Really?
From designing and manufacturing the rocket to conducting the launches.
So they do it all.
Think of it like a master chef who grows their own ingredients, prepares the meal from scratch, and then serves it to you personally.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
It's all in-house from start to finish.
Start to finish.
Does that give them a competitive edge?
It certainly provides them with a level of control and efficiency that could translate into cost savings and faster development cycles.
Okay.
SpaceX operates in a similar manner.
Right.
And it's been a key factor in their success.
So Blue Origin is taking a page out of SpaceX's playbook.
It seems that way.
Makes you wonder if this launch is as much about proving their capabilities to the world as it is about putting a payload into orbit.
There's definitely an element of that.
Yeah.
A successful launch of New Glenn would send a clear message to the space industry that Blue Origin is a serious contender capable of challenging SpaceX's dominance.
It's a statement for sure.
Yeah.
And this brings us to the unfortunate news. The launch has been delayed.
Oh, no.
Due to unfavorable weather conditions.
I see.
Specifically, rough seas are making the booster landing attempt too risky right now.
Right. Makes sense.
Safety first.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Delays are a common occurrence in spaceflight.
Yeah, especially.
Especially when dealing with a brand new rocket.
Right.
And a complex landing procedure like this. Blue Origin is prioritizing safety and waiting for calmer seas, which is a responsible decision.
Absolutely.
It must be frustrating for them, though, especially with the whole world watching and comparing them to SpaceX.
Got to be tough.
But hey, better safe than sorry, right?
Absolutely. Rushing a launch under unfavorable conditions could lead to a catastrophic failure.
That's true.
Which would set back Blue Origin's ambitions significantly.
Yeah, no one wants that.
So this cautious approach demonstrates their commitment to long-term success.
It really does.
Well, this deep dive has already been a roller coaster of emotions.
Tell me about it.
We've got this massive rocket, a historic launch site, a potential shakeup in the space industry.
Right.
And now a delay.
Oh, yeah.
That adds even more suspense to the story.
It's a nail-biter.
I'm on the edge of my seat here.
Me too. The anticipation is certainly building.
Yeah.
This launch represents a pivotal moment for Blue Origin.
Absolutely.
And the outcome will have significant implications for the future of the space race.
For sure. This is big.
It is. You know, it's interesting to consider how these delays might be perceived in the context of their competition with SpaceX.
Oh, absolutely. SpaceX has built a reputation for speed and daring.
Right.
Often pushing the boundaries of what's considered possible.
Exactly. I remember when SpaceX landed their first booster back in 2015.
It was a game changer. And they seem to be pulling off these incredible feats at a breakneck pace.
Yeah. Blue Origin, on the other hand, has taken a more measured approach.
Yeah.
They've been developing New Glenn for years.
Right.
Carefully refining the technology and ensuring everything is just right before attempting this inaugural launch.
So some critics might argue that Blue Origin is moving too slowly.
Yeah.
Especially in a fast-paced industry like space exploration.
I can see that.
But maybe this meticulousness is actually a strength.
That's a valid point. While speed is important,
right,
so is reliability and safety.
Yeah.
Blue Origin's cautious approach could ultimately inspire greater confidence in their technology, especially among potential customers and investors.
Sure. And let's not forget, this is a brand new rocket.
Right.
Attempting a booster, landing on a moving platform at sea on the very first flight.
First flight.
It's incredibly ambitious.
It is.
Even for SpaceX.
Exactly. There are inherent risks involved. And Blue Origin is right to prioritize safety over rushing to meet an arbitrary deadline.
It makes me wonder, though, how this delay might impact the public perception of Blue Origin.
Yeah.
Especially in light of SpaceX's more audacious approach.
It's certainly a PR challenge.
Yeah.
SpaceX has captured the public's imagination with their daring feats and ambitious plans.
For sure.
Blue Origin needs to find a way to communicate the value of their approach. And demonstrate that they are a force to be reckoned with.
So it's not just about building rockets and launching payload.
Yeah.
It's also about managing expectations and shaping the narrative.
Right.
It's like a whole other layer of competition playing out in the media and public opinion.
Precisely in this new era of space exploration where private companies are playing a leading role.
Right.
Image and perception are crucial.
Yeah.
Blue Origin needs to convince the world that they are not just following in SpaceX's footsteps, but forging their own path.
And maybe this delay, while frustrating in the short term, could actually work to their advantage.
How so?
It gives them an opportunity to build anticipation and highlight the complexity of what they're attempting to achieve.
That's true. It's a chance to emphasize their commitment to safety and showcase the meticulous engineering that has gone into developing New Glenn. They can turn this delay into a PR win if they play their cards right.
It's almost like a chess match, isn't it?
It is.
Every move, every decision has implications that extend far beyond the immediate technical challenges.
That's a great analogy. The space race isn't just about reaching a destination.
Right.
It's about outmaneuvering your opponent and winning the hearts and minds of the public.
And in this particular match, Blue Origin is facing a formidable opponent in SpaceX.
They are.
They've got their work cut out for them.
They do, but they also have a lot to offer.
Okay.
New Glenn represents a significant leap in capability and opens up new possibilities for space exploration. It's a game changer in its own right.
I'm starting to realize that this isn't just a competition between two companies.
No.
It's a race to define the future of space exploration.
Exactly.
And the stakes are incredibly high.
They are. You're absolutely right. The decisions these companies make, the technologies they develop, the partnerships they forge will all shape the course of humanity's journey into the cosmos.
It's a lot to process. We've got this incredible new rocket, a legacy launch site, a complex web of competition and collaboration.
Yeah.
And now this delay that adds another layer of intrigue to the story. I'm eager to see how this all unfolds.
The anticipation is palpable. We're on the cusp of a new era in space exploration.
Wow.
And Blue Origin's New Glenn is poised to play a pivotal role.
Okay.
Whether they stick the landing both literally and figuratively remains to be seen.
Well, this deep dive has been a wild ride so far, and we're not done yet when we return in part 3. We'll delve deeper into the implications of this launch and explore the potential impact of New Glenn on the future of space exploration. Welcome back. It feels like we've been on this incredible journey unpacking Blue Origin's New Glenn launch and its rivalry with SpaceX. We've talked about so much already, the technology, the history, the delays. But I keep coming back to this question. What's the big picture here?
You're right. That is the core of it, isn't it? We're not just looking at a single rocket launch. We're witnessing a potential turning point in the commercialization of space. Think about it. For decades, space exploration was dominated by government agencies like NASA and Roscosmos.
It felt almost untouchable, like something only superpowers could do. But now we've got private companies like SpaceX and Blue Origin stepping in, shaking things up with reusable rockets and ambitious plans. It's almost surreal.
It is a fundamental shift, and New Glenn's entry into the market could be a major catalyst for even greater change. Up until now, SpaceX has been the undisputed leader in private spaceflight, particularly when it comes to reusability and heavy lift capabilities.
They've definitely set a high bar with Falcon 9 and Starship constantly pushing the boundaries.
Yeah.
So where does New Glenn fit into all this?
Well, New Glenn is designed to carry heavier payloads into orbit, placing it in direct competition with SpaceX's Falcon Heavy and the in-development Starship. Think about it, larger satellites, more complex missions, and potentially even deep space endeavors. That's where New Glenn comes into play.
Okay, so it's not just about keeping up with SpaceX. It's about exceeding their capabilities and pushing the boundaries even further. It sounds almost like an arms race in space.
There's definitely an element of that, but the competition isn't necessarily a bad thing. In fact, healthy competition can drive innovation and lead to breakthroughs that benefit everyone.
So potentially lower costs, faster development cycles, and maybe even new technologies that we haven't even thought of yet.
Exactly. It's not just about rockets and satellites. It's about the ripple effects that this space race could have on other industries. Telecommunications, scientific research, even tourism. The possibilities are truly vast.
It's mind-boggling, really. Just imagine space tourism becoming something more affordable, or massive constellations of satellites providing global internet access. It sounds like science fiction, but it's happening right now.
And don't forget about the scientific advancements. Increased access to space means we can launch more ambitious telescopes, send probes to explore distant planets and moons, and maybe even start thinking seriously about establishing a permanent human presence on Mars.
A permanent human presence on Mars that's going way beyond the space race and straight into the realm of science fiction becoming reality.
It may seem far-fetched now, But that's the kind of vision that companies like Blue Origin and SpaceX are inspiring. They're not just building rockets, they're shaping the future of humanity's relationship with space.
It's incredibly inspiring, but I also have to be realistic. Spaceflight is inherently risky and complex, and we've already seen delays with this New Glenn launch. What are some of the challenges that could hold back this grand vision of commercial space exploration?
You're right. It's not all smooth sailing. There are certainly challenges ahead. Technical hurdles are always present, and the regulatory landscape is still evolving. Securing funding for these ambitious projects is another major obstacle. And we can't overlook the environmental aspect. More launches, more satellites, more space debris. We need to proceed responsibly and sustainably.
It sounds like a delicate balancing act,
Yeah.
pushing the boundaries of innovation while also being mindful of the risks and consequences.
Exactly, and that's where the real conversation begins. What role do we want private companies to play in space exploration? How do we ensure ethical and responsible development? How do we strike a balance between technological advancement and environmental stewardship?
These are big questions, and I don't think they're easy answers. But it's clear that we're at a crossroads. The decisions we make now will shape the future of humanity's journey into the cosmos.
And that's what makes this whole topic so captivating. We're not just observing a space race, we're participating in a defining moment for our species.
This deep dive has given me a lot to think about. The competition between Blue Origin and SpaceX is fascinating, but the bigger picture is even more compelling. It's about pushing the boundaries of human ingenuity, exploring the vastness of space, and ultimately shaping our destiny among the stars.
That's a perfect way to put it. This is about more than just rockets and payloads. It's about expanding our horizons, both literally and figuratively.
And who knows what the future holds?
Yeah.
Maybe one day we'll be looking back at this moment as the dawn of a new era in space exploration, an era where humanity becomes a truly spacefaring civilization.
It's an exciting thought, and I, for one, am eager to see what unfolds.
Well said. And on that note, I think it's time to wrap up this deep dive. Thanks for joining us on this incredible journey. And as always, keep looking up.